One more time.
Okay, I call this December 2nd, 2014, Franklin County Board of County Commissioners meeting to order. Would you roll call, please?
Commissioner Hendry.
Here.
Commissioner Keating.
Here.
Commissioner McDowell.
Here.
Commissioner Wingerter.
Here.
Chairman Chadwick.
Here. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Okay, I would entertain a motion for the approval of the consent agenda. Have a motion. Do you have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Anything that anybody would like to pull for discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Public hearing tonight, we have one. It is PS 14-0024, a request by Rocky and K Development, LLC, for approval of a preliminary plat for the Salt Creek Industrial Park, a major subdivision consisting of 9 lots on a parcel of approximately 42.1 acres in the light industrial zoning district located in the FT Investments Simple Subdivision and Lot 2 of the Bocc Simple Subdivision. Property is currently accessed from Salt Creek Highway. I now declare the public hearing open for the consideration of PS 14-24. A request by Rocky K Development, LLC, for approval of a preliminary plat for Salt Creek Industrial Park, a major subdivision consisting of 9 lots on a parcel of approximately 42.1 acres in the light industrial zoning district located in the FT Investment Simple Subdivision and Lot 2 of the Bocc Simple Subdivision. Property is currently accessed from Salt Creek Highway. Hearing will be conducted in accordance with state statutes, rules in the Trumbull County Commission, and other local laws. I would ask those individuals who wish to address the Commission to approach the lectern and state your name and address. May we have a report from staff?
Certainly, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. We do have a request for approval of a preliminary plat. This is a preliminary plat of the Salt Creek Industrial Park, a major subdivision. This 42-acre tract is located in a portion of the southwest quarter of Section 29 Township. Let me scoot this over. Township 34 north, range 79 west, Trumbull County. This is located off the Salt Creek Highway. The tract presently lies in the light industrial zoning district. Surrounding zoning is predominantly light industrial with some urban mixed residential UMR and light industrial LI to the north, light industrial to the south and east, and urban agricultural to the west. We're on Salt Creek Highway between the port of entry and Bar None. This gives you an idea of the surrounding zoning. We have light industrial. Here is the UMR there to the north and the urban ag to the west. Here is our, and it's actually now an 8-lot subdivision. Originally began as a 9-lot, and it has since, lot sizes have been adjusted. This is the current proposal in front of us. We have lots 1, 2, 3, 4, and then continue up to lot number 8. One noticeable difference, and we'll get into it here a little bit further, is the road, and we've provided both preliminary plats up there. Originally, the road was directly straight there. It's now been relocated so that it's at a 90-degree angle to Salt Creek Highway. That was driven by a couple forces. One is the original thought was to develop a regional storm sewer system, and needed right-of-way was not able to be acquired. so they had to go back and revisit the drainage plan. And now the direction is to have individual lot detention areas, and Tract A was created as a detention area for the drainage that would be generated from the roadway.
Jason, is that outside the subdivision, Tract A, or is it
Which would be within the subdivision.
within the subdivision?
Here's some photographs. Here is, I apologize for the screen.
Thought about being a lawyer?
This is a photograph looking north from the subject property, looking south from the subject property. Looking to the east, this is Salt Creek Highway, and this would be looking west. Background, the applicant has submitted for an application for approval of the preliminary plat for the Salt Creek Industrial Park, a major subdivision of a 42-acre parcel. The proposed subdivision will consist of 8 lots. Planned lots currently range in size from 4 acres to 7 acres. The proposed subdivision is accessed from the Salt Creek Highway on the east. This location was recently zoned for this type of development, and all earlier conditions apply and will be installed as part of the subdivision construction. Key issue. Should Natrona County approve a preliminary plat for the proposed Salt Creek Industrial Park, a major subdivision located in the light industrial zoning district? First criteria, is the subdivision consistent with the Natrona County Development Plan and the zoning resolution? Finding of fact, proposed subdivision is within neighborhood 13 in the ward well of the 1998 land plan. The 98 land plan calls for industrial parks in the south, industrial with limited residential infill only. The 1998 plan also recommended commercial zoning, roadway upgrades, especially Salt Creek Highway, and long-term elimination of mobile parks. Emphasis on the use of ISDs to upgrade roads. Predominant land use is a progressive light industrial zoning district. With recent surrounding developments, the proposed Salt Creek Industrial Park major subdivision is consistent with the current land use and development plan. Criteria number 2, has the applicant provided evidence that sufficient water supply has been acquired in terms of quality and dependability for the type of subdivision proposed, as determined in accordance with the standards set forth in the water supply system? Has the applicant provided evidence that public sewage system has been established, and if other methods of sewage disposal are proposed, adequate evidence that that system complies with state and local laws and regulations? Finding of fact, Wardwell Water and Sewer District has the ability and the capacity to supply water and sewer for the Salt Creek Industrial Park. Correspondence from the City Casper Public Services Department states there is availability and appropriate capacity of regional water transmission service and regional water sewer service for the Salt Creek Industrial Park. There's extensive correspondence in the file. The applicant has had conversations with Wardwell Water and Sewer, the City of Casper. They are all very much in favor of this subdivision. Wardwell Water spoke at the planning and zoning hearing and is very excited about this subdivision. This subdivision will provide a necessary water looping for their system, so it's going to improve the water quality of the Wardwell Water District in that area. Continued finding of facts on the water and sewer. The Wyoming Department of Environmental Quality, Wyoming DEQ, has received an application material for review for safety and adequacy of a water supply and sewer system in the Salt Creek Industrial Park. The State Engineer's Office, the Groundwater Division, has provided a letter indicating generally supportive of this subdivision. Criteria number 3, has the applicant provided evidence that any areas within the proposed subdivision which contains topographical conditions presenting hazardous or requiring special precautions have been identified by the applicant, and the proposed use of the area is compatible with such conditions. Finding of fact, the applicant has considered the existing topography and has addressed concerns as shown by the preliminary drainage study prepared by WLC. Initial considerations were to install an underground storm sewer system. Since the study, necessary right-of-way could not be obtained to install this system. Drainage study and the grading plan has now been reevaluated to provide on-site drainage for each lot. Drainage from the roadway surface will be conveyed into Tract A. Maintenance of this Tract A would be provided by the 8 property owners via the Homeowners Association.
Homeowners Association or ISD?
ISD. Recent commercial developments in this area have indicated above average soil bearing capacities for construction. This area has excellent soil conditions and it's wonderful for construction. It's a very sandy loam. It's a wonderful place to construct. Number 4, are necessary fire service, schools, recreation utilities, transportation system, are they available to serve the proposed subdivision? Finding of fact, this proposed Salt Creek Industrial Park is adjacent to Salt Creek Highway on its easterly boundary and lies within the city of Casper's growth boundary. Police and fire protection would be provided by Natrona County Sheriff's Office through mutual agreements with surrounding agencies. Utilities would be provided through workable water and sewer and regional water and sewer. Transportation access would be provided via WATCHDOG. Both are able to support this preliminary plat. Recent adjustments to the plat have aligned the proposed roadway at a 90-degree angle to improve roadway safety. Access agreements and potential improvements on Salt Creek will be determined by WATCHDOG at a later date. 5, the subdivision appears to be compatible with the surrounding area and not detrimental to future development of this area, and not detrimental to the health, safety, or welfare of the inhabitants of the area and the county. Proposed finding of fact. The proposed subdivision is A, consistent with surrounding development in Natrona County. B, no identified detrimental effects to health, safety, or welfare of the inhabitants of the area and the county. C, Salt Creek Industrial Park is addressing a growing need for industrial development in Natrona County. D, subdivision is providing buildable lots with municipal water, sewer, and paved roads. E, applicant has provided covenants for the property. And F, all earlier agreements in regards to buffering are incorporated into the construction plans and covenants. And G, roads will be serviced by an improvement service district. Public notices and comment. Applicant has published notices of intent to subdivide this land located in the October 15th and October 22nd in Casper Star Tribune. The Development Department has also received advertised notice of this public hearing in the Casper Star Tribune. The Development Department has also sent mailings to surrounding property owners within a quarter mile. As of the date of this report, no public comments in regard to the proposed Salt Creek subdivision preliminary plot have been received by the Natrona County Development Department. At their November 10th, 2014 Planning and Zoning Commission, with 2 commissioners absent, acted unanimously to approve the preliminary plat and incorporate all findings of fact to the Board of County Commissioners for their consideration. Staff further recommends that the above motion incorporate by reference the facts, findings of fact set forth herein and make them a part thereof. With that, I'd address any questions you may have.
Would you go back to Mr. Keith, please?
Like 3 slides, right there.
Necessary.
Police and fire protection will be provided by the Natrona County Sheriff's Office.
Fire protection will not be provided by the sheriff department. The fire protection will be Natrona County Fire and through any other mutual agreements. So if there was a large-scale fire, I would presume through mutual agreements that other agencies would also help.
I'm sorry, yeah, just the way I read that, it said police and fire are provided by Natrona County Sheriff's Office and through mutual aid agreements and surrounding agencies. Okay. All right. Sorry.
Okay.
That's okay.
Commissioner McDowell?
Back when we did the rezoning on this, we had some additional consideration as to berming, what have you. Is that appropriate to have in this document at this time, or I heard you reference a previous decision. That previous decision need not be, the terms and conditions need not be put on this subdivision plat.
Right now, with us being in the preliminary stage, we would actually assure that all those conditions were in place when they bring forth the final plat through the subdivision agreement. I believe is the proper venue to do that.
I don't think those would go on the plat,
That would be the subdivision agreement.
not the restrictions.
We can't hear you guys.
Should we clarify that then, please?
My question is, could you please clarify the restrictions, things to be added to this? Would they be when will they be noted in a record?
Well, they're noted in the record now, and that resolution has been recorded, and that was a condition of the zone change. But I've never seen a plat recorded where you have that type of restriction recorded on the plat itself. And we're not to that point. And again, this is a preliminary plat. That will come sometime down the road if we were to do that. But I can't recall seeing any restrictions placed on the actual plat itself.
All of those restrictions are incorporated in the covenants that was included in your packet, and we have checked that, and they all coincide with what we earlier discussed.
Okay. Commissioner Henry? Commissioner Wood? The one question I guess that I had was on the drainage, the storm drainage, and that little chunk. That little piece right there. We currently have a 3-inch thick book of little chunks like that all over the county that the county owns, and collecting no property taxes, et cetera, on. What guarantee do we have that that won't happen with this piece? Do we have a guarantee? And I assume we don't at this point in time. Even if you establish an ISD and they take ownership of that piece, all they have to do to put it into county ownership is not pay the property taxes on it. And it'll get sold on the courthouse steps, nobody will buy it and will own it. So that would be one of my big questions. And I'm sure when we get into Keith's support of his preliminary plat, that he can explain this to us, what we would expect or what we might be able to do at that point. So that's one of my concerns. Is us getting another piece of property we don't really want.
Okay, I'll defer to Keith when he gets up to speak. I would say from a development standpoint, all 8 of those property owners will have a vested interest to make sure that tract A exists, because that's what provides drainage for the road, and the road provides access to their property. But I'll defer in further conversation to the applicant if he goes forward.
Okay, any other questions?
Mr. Chairman, I have one. Jason, Mr. Tyler, he came back, these several meetings we had, neighborhood meetings, and he came back and he mentioned he's going to build a berm and low-level lighting, and there wouldn't be any 24-hour trucks running in and out and all that. Is there anything in writing that we have that, is that going to come later, that the size of the berms and the low-level lighting and all that? I mean, he indicated, and I sure trust him, but do we need anything on paper for the official records about that?
It's documented in that resolution that's recorded that went through the zone change, and we've got minutes, for, the recorded minutes from that meeting, along with documentation Mr. Tyler provided showing the items he was willing to do on the lots that were adjacent to residential, essentially where we have a UMR adjacent to his proposed subdivision.
Okay. Thank you.
And I don't see any issue with restating those requirements in the final resolution approving this subdivision. I just don't think it's appropriate for the actual plat itself to have those listed on the plat.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, I would ask those individuals who wish to speak in favor of PS 14-24 to approach the lectern, and please state your name and address.
Good evening, Chairman Chadwick, members of the Commission. My name is Keith Tyler. I'm here tonight on behalf of Rocky K Development to speak in favor of the proposed subdivision and preliminary plat. My address is 421 South Center, Suite 201, Casper. Staff has covered most of the important points. I'll just try to address some of the issues that have come up with Commissioner's questions. The tract A is proposed currently to be owned by the Association for the Subdivision and managed and maintained by the ISD, the Improvement Services Group. I'm not aware of any other solution that's been implemented from the county, either the city of Casper or any other municipal or county organizations where they have come up with a better or different solution for these tracts that are used for drainage and other type purposes. You can't really assign a common area like that that's for the common benefit of the whole subdivision to a particular lot and say that lot takes care of it. It's got to be a separate tract that's owned by the group. So that's why we generally deed those parcels to the association that regulates and oversees that particular subdivision. Again, if you have a better solution for me, I'd be happy to listen to it. There is certainly incentive on the part of the association to pay the taxes and keep that tract up because it does provide for part of the drainage solution for that development. Other than that, I don't know that I can address any more to satisfy your question, Chairman. Again, if you've got some suggestions, I'd be happy to address those. We are at the preliminary plat stage. We have time between now and final plat to come up with different solutions if there's some that appear more viable. The other question about the restrictions, echoing what the county attorney said, the zoning resolution incorporated those restrictions, and we indicated at that time that we would incorporate in the covenants, which are a contractual commitment within the subdivision, as well as to the adjoining neighbors that benefit from those restrictions. We have incorporated all those same commitments in the covenants. So we are essentially contractually binding those lots of record, in the county records, land records, imposing those restrictions on those lots for the benefit of those adjoining residential parcels. So that addresses your concerns.
Commissioner McDowell?
My original understanding was that the water service was going to be provided where the urban mixed residential area would be looped into. Can you help me with that?
Yeah, the water service is going to come down, what's shown on there is Andy Road.
Okay.
It'll be brought down to the center, to the roadway through the middle of the subdivision, taken through the subdivision, across Salt Creek Highway to tie into the regional 12-inch arterial line to improve circulation, pressure, etc. It's also proposed to be extended down to Brazil Lane to loop that system as well. Currently, the line of Brazil is a dead end.
Okay.
So those are the proposed improvements that hopefully will take place as part of this project.
Good. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Keith, and I'm just to get these things discussed at this point, just curious if you'd be opposed to, or reason why you would be opposed to, and I will say, having tract A in ISD is much better than a homeowners association from the county's perspective for the future. But what about making that part of lot 1 and then just giving ISD an easement across it for the water storage?
We could look at that and talk about it. Off the cuff, I can't think of too many reasons I would want.
That's all. Okay, thank you. At this time, I would ask those individuals who wish to speak in favor of PS 14-24 to please approach the lectern. For the second time, I would ask those individuals who wish to speak in favor of PS 14-24 to please approach the lectern. And for the third and final time, I would ask those individuals who wish to speak in favor of PS 14-24 to approach the lectern. At this time, I would ask those individuals who wish to speak in opposition of PS 14-0024 to approach the lectern. And please state your name and address.
All bad, 2781 Cherokee. I'm not really speaking so much in opposition as I am. More like I have a couple questions about it, I guess. One, on Andy Lane, is Andy Lane going to come all the way down to that other road to where we have access in that way for emergency equipment should we need it, or is this just strictly limited to a one access into this area for fire equipment and emergency personnel to enter this subdivision?
Would you care to address that, Jason?
Certainly, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Right now, yeah, there would only be vehicle access from Salt Creek. It's not shown on this one, but there is a proposed turnaround easement right there so that emergency services vehicles could turn around at the end of the road. The Andy Road extension is not planned part of this, but there would be the water line installed in there, but no vehicle access.
Well, my concern is, if something happens here in this road that's blockage on it, how do we, there's no access for fire trucks or anything like this with industrial
Facilities.
sites back in there, we don't know, and I know on the covenants there was nothing on the south side of that road that limited in fuel storage or chemical storage or anything like that. Only limitations were on the north side of the road, if I recall. So anything that could happen in there, it seems to me like you're looking at having a second access into that area. That's, I guess that would be one point I would make.
My assumption is that there are two accesses, Andy Lane and Salt Creek Highway. Andy Lane connects to the north to several streets.
You just said it doesn't.
It
To
does.
the north,
Yeah, I'm sure
it does. To the south, it does not connect in.
It connects to Curzell.
Use your pointer.
That was my original question. Does Andy Lane come down and connect with this east-west road for access? Jason just said it did not, that there was no vehicle access on that, so I'm confused.
I thought your question asked if Andy Lane connects to the south.
Well, does Andy Lane come down south far enough to connect into this industrial road?
I think it does.
And I couldn't say for certain if it connects to the south, but I know it connects to the north.
Mr. Chairman, it does.
To the south also?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the
Coming
answer.
from the north down southward into the center of this
Well,
park.
coming from the proposed road going south on Andy Lane, Matt's telling us that there is access back out to Salt Creek Highway.
No, not to Salt Creek, no, but it does extend south. It doesn't extend, it never does connect to Salt Creek, no. It never has. Andy
Okay,
Lane?
well, let me restate my question, and if something's blocked off, if this road that they're building is blocked off by lot 1 out here, is there another way of getting emergency vehicles into the backside, to the west side of that industrial park?
Yes,
That would be coming in from the north, or
you could absolutely come in from the north on Forbes Road.
with emergency vehicle, with fire trucks? Okay, that was it.
Okay.
The other, thank you. That was certainly a concern. The other thing I kind of have a question about is the little tract A. Obviously, there's a concern about it being turned back over to the county or something like that sometime in the future. Is there a way, and I don't know if this is even legally possible, is there a way of taking and figuring out what the tax on that place would be and making something in the system, in the record that tax would be equally divided amongst the other 8 lots in that industrial park, to where there would always be, the tax would always be not specific for that property, but that, the other properties would be paying that tax.
Well, and I believe, and we'd have, this is part of that, since this is preliminary, this would be part of that discussion between now and the final, is exactly how would that look, that we need to have with Keith.
Yeah, I mean, not that it would be a separate tax that's paid equally by these other lots, but that it would be incorporated into the tax of those other lots.
And
into
that
their
might be
tax
an
bill.
alternative, and that's something that we'll have to look at.
All right, okay, and I'm assuming we did have some sort of extra study done on this new drainage? Because initially they were talking about the drainage is going back to the east across there. So since we've changed that, and he doesn't have the right of way, so there's been a water drainage study done with this same.
And I'll let Jason address that issue.
Okay.
The drainage study hasn't been updated by Worthington Leonard to reflect this new condition.
Okay. Right.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Questions for Mr. Patton? No.
It's right here.
Okay. I would ask those individuals who wish to speak in opposition of PS 14-24 to please approach the lectern. For the second time, I would ask those individuals who wish to speak in opposition of PS 14-24 to please approach the lectern. And for the third and final time, I would ask those individuals who wish to speak in opposition of PS 14-24 to approach the lectern. There being no one or no others to speak for or against PS 14-24, I now declare this public hearing closed.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Hendry.
I would move that we approve PS 14-0024, the request for preliminary plat for Salt Creek Industrial Park with the findings of fact.
Second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Time for public comments. If you wish to address the commission, this is public's opportunity to do so. I would ask that you please approach the lectern and give your name and address.
Sorry, I have the nerve. Judy Jones, 235 North 8 Mile Road, Casco, Wyoming. I'm here tonight to ask the commission to not renew Mr. Knight's contract with the county, but seek out a new county attorney from either the state pool, the DECO, or the private sector. I want you to know I didn't come to this conclusion lightly, or even for personal retribution or anything like that, but rather as a concerned citizen. Just as a citizen who has had to muddle her way through the county's legal department, state laws, resolutions, with less than a clear understanding of them until now. I won't take up a lot of your time by making wild allegations. I'm here as a concerned citizen and trying to understand Mr. Knight's obsession with my husband and I feel, as well as many others, that there are some problems with our current county attorney and his lack of accurate interpretation of our state laws, local regulations, and the Constitution. These can no longer be ignored. He has advised this commission on many issues that were later to be found inaccurate, not only in Judge Sullivan's courtroom, but through my attorney and other attorneys as well throughout town. The last 4 years, let's take a look at the county attorney's record. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to give the commission kind of a summary of instances that I feel Mr. Knight's track record is not untarnished. The first example, we'll go back to 2010. Mr. Knight advised the Board of County Commissioners, then with Bart Purium on board still, that they could make an ordinance, and I think it was T-80-0010, essentially banning more than one inoperable car on private property in the county and classifying it as a nuisance. That ordinance stayed on the books until it was challenged by citizens in October 2010. The 9 months that the county was ticketing and prosecuting people on more than one unlicensed vehicle on their private property until it was discovered not only by some sharp citizens, but our attorney and many others, that this ordinance, because of it's a direct conflict with the state laws, was actually void. The state law allowed up to 4 unlicensed vehicles on a property without being called a nuisance. Mr. Knight failed to advise this commission of the state laws at any time during that 9 months, rendering this ordinance void in all legal standards. Do you realize how many people were forced to get rid of their cars and their antique trucks because of the change in ordinance? Hundreds of thousands of dollars were crushed at Pacific Steel because people simply did not know that this ordinance was not only void because of its lack of following state statutes, but they were now being ticketed for these vehicles. Can I continue? I'll get to the point here, I swear.
Can you finish up shortly?
Okay. Well, it's kind of important, so I'll skip over some of the highlights here and just get down to the brass tacks. Okay, the second example, the natural expansion doctrine, this one too had quite a bit about it, and it took my district court decision to save that. And then less than 6 months later, it was brought before this board to try to eliminate that once again. The point I'm making here is that he's advising his counsel improperly. And I think, I don't know if he just doesn't understand our state laws and our constitutions or what, but at some point he's going to have to be held accountable. And one last, I'll just pass these out. Can I do those? This is a letter that I just received on the 18th of November. Oops, sorry, missed you. From Tom Doyle's Treasury's office. And seems the county attorney is now dabbling in sales tax issues with the county. Anyway, that letter came to us and it says that we owe like $7,000 in taxes on sales, but it didn't come with any documentation of the calculations of this or where it came from or who wanted it. I didn't see a reason why Mr. Knight should be delving into our tax records, and I find that very suspicious. I spoke with Mr. Doyle about it and last Tuesday, and he said he was waiting on these so-called records. But my point to this is, Tom put his name on that, you know, saying that we owed this money without any proof of it. He looks kind of bad. I mean, would you send out a bill from any one of your businesses saying you owe X amount of dollars with nothing to back it up, saying this is what we did for you, or this is what you're charged for, or any of that? And some of those vehicles on there are ICC exempt. We use them in our business. And I understand that state law does not require me to register my vehicles in Natrona County. I can register them anywhere. If you want to go buy, say, Amazon Jude plates, I could get those in Hot Springs County because it's taken here in Natrona County. Okay, I don't feel the need for him to be delving into our private records anymore. I mean, I thought we put all this to bed and we were moving on. I feel like this is one more attempt to harass me or my husband. And I guess that's, since time's up, I'll lay it on. Thank you.
No, hang on, Mr. Chairman, I got a question. So,
Mr. Key?
I see Tom Doyle's name on this letter, but I mean, how is the county attorney linked in this at all?
Because he came up with the records, and then he was supposed to give them to Mr. Doyle, and Tom doesn't know anything about it. He's doing his own research on this, and he said, like this one, this one, this one. They're driving down the highway right now. They're registered out of Hot Springs County. It's our choice to do that. I mean, so this was at Mr. Knight's. I don't know if he went rogue and did it on his own, or what you guys asked him.
You've provided that information to Tom?
Tom is still, he's got on hold because he's doing his own records check right now, and then we'll compare. I called him and I told him, I said, whatever you don't have, I'll help you.
Okay.
So he's fully aware of it. I don't understand what Mr. Knight's doing in my tax stuff. That's Tom's job.
And I believe you provided that information to him.
For our trial.
Yes.
That was for our trial.
Yes.
Okay, and that was all put to bed, I thought. We all thought that. And I apologized to the board apologized to me, and everybody made up. So why now is he digging into my tax records? Okay, and coming up with numbers without any substantiating documents to show this. I mean, he put Tom in a very precarious situation.
Would you like to return to the lectern so everybody can hear you? The county attorney is an employee of the county.
Right, but
And
he
so
wasn't
he
asked by
has-
Tom to do this.
But he has a responsibility when he sees something that doesn't look right to turn it over to the correct person. That's exactly.
So why wasn't this brought up
He
for the
turned
last
it-
3 years then?
And I believe that that list was provided by you about a year ago.
No, it was provided for my trial for 2012, almost 2 years ago. And the titles, the counties had those since 2010 when this began. Okay, now unless he's doing this to everybody in this room, if you buy a car from him or him.
Well, everybody has to pay their sales taxes, etc. Commissioner Hendry.
So to get kind of to the bottom of this, all of these vehicles that were listed, did you take?
Some of those we don't even own.
Well, did you, I don't know how they got it.
That's what I'm saying, I don't know how they got it.
Did you take the information into Tom Doyle and tell him if you
I will, as soon as he's done doing his research. He wanted to do some stuff first, because I told him this morning.
Then you've taken care of it?
I will be taking care of it through Tom, but my point is this guy keeps advising you guys on things that are not right. The natural expansion doctrine. I mean, here, I got a list of them. There's like 9 of them. Grandfathering, that was another big boo-boo, you know. Even the Salt Creek hearing, it's all done and said, and it's finished tonight, but we all know that that wasn't done correctly. The salaries, okay, what would it kill Bill to go through the Constitution and find out that his cap was $100,000 and tell you guys this before you got in there trying to debate how much to give him a raise? You see what I'm saying? Just I call it sloppy work. If you're going to do something, do it right, do it to the best of your ability, and give you boys all the information you need so that you can make decisions that will all back you up on. So.
And we are not required to get his permission to give him a raise. That was our decision, not his.
But, no, but as your county attorney, he should have notified you and said, look guys, here's the Wyoming Constitution,
He couldn't have known.
my cap.
He couldn't have.
He was in the room with you, Forrest, I know. Linda was
At that
sitting there.
moment, he didn't know prior to that. So he had no advanced warning that that was going to happen.
He didn't know his renewal was coming up after a year?
We're talking about a raise, not the renewal.
Well, I'm asking you not to renew his contract again. Let's get an attorney in here that'll advise you guys properly.
If you would please
Take that under review.
Well, that's fine, but I mean, I just want it on the record that, you know, him diving into our tax returns, he's gonna pull this crap on me. He better be pulling it on everybody in county. Because you know what this looks like again? This looks like harassment. And I'm not gonna tolerate it. You know that. I mean, I do my best to be good to you guys and come with good stuff and not get in here and be a jerk or anything, but I don't need this either. So thank you.
Any other public comments?
All that 27A1 Cherokee. I guess this was brought up, was it 6 weeks ago when you had the work session talking about the county attorney's raise and others' raise or possibility of them and such. Mr. Chairman, I guess basically I have a question for you directly, and that during that meeting you had said that you used the term "we." Let me back up. When you started mentioning the raise, Commissioner Keating brought up the point that he thought there was a cap on that. And you made a statement, Mr. Chairman, that you used the term "we," investigated that extensively, and referenced and said that that cap had been removed long ago before Renee was even here. I guess my question is, who was the "we" that investigated that, looked into that was unable to find that?
That was myself, the county clerk, and the county clerk from Laramie County. We called her because their opinion was different from our opinion. We thought that we had a cap and we were there. We called Laramie County and asked them specifically, and they said, no, there is no cap. That was removed. And we were going with that information on that day. So that's the "we." So there were several of us involved in that investigation. After we made that decision, Then Mr. Knight went into the statutes and found where we could not do that. And he has determined that it is very specific and we cannot.
Okay, well, thank you. I was just kind of wondering who did supposedly extensive research and was unable to find this in the Constitution or the statutes, either one, so. Okay, thanks.
Any other public comment? Commissioners' comments? Commissioner King?
Would you come back to me?
Okay. Commissioner Winger?
Nothing.
Commissioner Hendry?
I have a couple of things. I got an email this afternoon that Robertson Road is open partially. They got the blacktop over the culvert, so that has been a real hassle for people out in that end of the county, and maybe they'll lessen the traffic going down CY. CY is pretty well open. So we're all open. Then the other thing is that a friend of mine and a longtime rancher in Natrona County, I heard had passed away just the other day. Con Murphy passed away. And you know, some people got along great with him, some people didn't get along great with him. But I'll tell you what, since 1957 when he came here, he did a lot and always traded up and ended up being one of the largest landowners in Natrona County. And pretty good old Irish. So anyway, Connie Murphy died.
Thank you, Ron. Commissioner Dow?
Just kind of gathering my wits and deciding to be a little bit more pleasant. I would tell Judy that the mistakes that you, in many cases, ascribe to our county attorney are the result of the county commissioners working ahead without his considered opinion, providing him direction what we wanted to see. So, I think you're off base. I'm willing to say that I support Bill Knight as county attorney unequivocally, and that he has been responsive, as is his job, to the commissioners and to represent the other county officials. Relative to this letter goes back to a conversation detailing the full discovery process that you disclosed, that we could not find transfer of titles or registration or the payment of sales taxes for all the vehicles that were disclosed in your lawsuit, extending back to 10 years or more of bill of sales. Long discussion with Tom, me, myself. Tom had discussions with the Department of Revenue about all the apparent lack of retitling and payment of sales taxes. And we came to the determination that, along with the Department of Revenue, that we could not go back any further than 3 years. 3 years were gone back. These were the issues that were unresolved. We had no way of knowing, Tom had no way of knowing, or Bill Knight or myself, that these apparently had been retitled in Hot Springs County and sales tax paid at that time. It is Tom Doyle's responsibility to collect sales tax. And when he can't collect sales taxes, it's his responsibility to turn it over to the Department of Revenue. So the issues, I think, are fairly straightforward on this. this. I think Tom Doyle has done his job. Bill Knight has done his job. And if you have delivered the information that Tom requires, then he will make an adjustment of whatever sales tax may or may not be done. They may or may not be done. So that's a simple answer to what you perceive as harassment. That's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner Ballin. As for myself, I would like to speak to the same issue. And for one, what you see of Mr. Knight is less than 5% of what I see. I work with Bill closely every day, and Heather also. We have innumerable issues that we have to address every single day. So you're seeing a very small amount of it. And as Commissioner McDowell already stated, he is acting at the behest of the county commissioners. And he does have my full support. I think he's a very good county attorney. And that's all I have. Anybody else?
Mr. Chairman, I got one other thing.
Rob?
You know, I bought a piece of equipment out of state, and I was interested in buying the equipment, getting back here. I didn't think about paying sales tax. The county found me. They came after me, they were picking on me, and I got caught. So guess what? I came in here and paid the tax. Didn't think about it.
As soon as I see documentation of it, I'll be sure to take care of
They
mine.
saw documentation of mine, and I don't even know how they found out, but it doesn't matter. I'm caught. So I came in here and I thought, yeah, I didn't. So, yeah, because I took care of it.
Yeah, thank you. I'd also like to go on record that issues, and the majority of the issues that you pointed out, Jamie, were honestly issues that you have with the commission, not the county attorney. He, we should probably take to heart what you had to say and maybe listen more closely to what he had to say. He definitely has my full support. He's doing a great job.
Mine as well.
And honestly, I'll take this opportunity just to be in full disclosure. I did talk to Dana a couple of times, about this, and Terry last week came in with this, and we just walked down the hall and asked Tom about it, because Tom's a great guy.
Oh, yeah.
And it was my advice to Dana to, look, just come on in and sit down and talk to Tom. You're two good guys, work it out. There's no conspiracy here. Figure it out.
I appreciate your honesty.
Okay.
And Mr. Chairman, I better say something, everybody else say something. I enjoyed.
You don't have to, Terry.
Then I won't.
Move to adjourn.
I just want to say I enjoyed working with all of you, but I know I have another meeting left, so I'll be here.
Okay. See you in 2 weeks. Meeting adjourned.